Welcome to Mr. English Cafe. Imagine you were standing in the middle of Times Square or a busy train station during rush hour. Thousands of people are brushing past you. You can hear the laughter, the footsteps, and the chatter. But in your chest, there is a heavy, cold feeling. You feel completely invisible, like a ghost in a machine. Did you know that in some of the world's biggest cities, over 60% of residents say they feel lonely every single day? Ask yourself this. Have you ever felt more alone while being surrounded by people than when you were actually by yourself? Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to the show. I'm Joe, and I am so glad you've tuned in today. Today, we are diving deep into a topic that touches almost all of us, yet we rarely talk about it over coffee: the psychology of loneliness. Specifically, why we feel so isolated in our crowded modern cities. It's a bit of a heavy heart-to-heart today, but I promise it's going to be encouraging. Before we start, if you find value in these deep dives, please hit that subscribe button and give us a like. It really helps our community grow so we can keep supporting each other. Now, let's talk. It's a strange paradox, isn't it? We live in apartment buildings with hundreds of neighbors. We work in offices with dozens of colleagues. We have 500 friends on social media. Yet, many of us go home and feel like no one truly knows us. Why does this happen? The luxury of privacy. In small villages, everyone knows your business. In a city, we value our space. We wear headphones on the bus. We look at our phones in the elevator. We've built walls to protect our peace, but those same walls keep the warmth of connection out. The comparison trap. When you see a group of friends laughing at a restaurant while you're walking home alone, your brain tells a lie. It says, everyone is happy except me. We see the highlight reel of the city, but we don't see the millions of other people feeling the exact same way behind their closed doors. I remember a friend of mine moved to London for a dream job. He lived in a beautiful flat. He was surrounded by millions of people. But he told me, Joe, I spent 3 months where the only person who spoke my name out loud was the barista at Starbucks. That is the urban desert. It's not a lack of people, it's a lack of being seen. We are social animals. Our brains are literally wired to need eye contact, a shared laugh, or a how are you. That actually means something. In the city, we often trade depth for efficiency. I want to share a couple of golden quotes that might help shift your perspective. These aren't just pretty words, they are lifelines. Loneliness is not lack of company, loneliness is lack of purpose. Guillermo del Toro. Now, Guillermo del Toro is a famous Oscar-winning film director. He often tells stories about monsters who are actually just misunderstood and lonely. What he means here is that you can be at a massive party, holding a drink and talking to people, but still feel a deep ache in your chest. Why? Because there is no meaning in the conversation. Imagine a young woman named Sarah. She works in a big office and goes to happy hour every Friday with her co-workers. They talk about the weather and office gossip. But Sarah goes home feeling empty. Why? Because she has no purpose in those groups. She isn't sharing her heart or working toward a goal. When she started volunteering at an animal shelter on Saturdays, she was working, but her loneliness vanished. She found a purpose helping those animals, and suddenly she felt connected to the world again. The eternal quest of the individual human being is to shatter his loneliness. Norman Cousins. Norman Cousins was a famous journalist and professor who spent his life studying how our emotions affect our health. He believed that the need to be long is as strong as the need to breathe. To shatter something means to break it completely. Cousins is telling us that we shouldn't feel weak for wanting friends. It is an eternal quest, a lifelong journey. Think of an elderly man living in a high-rise apartment. He is quiet and shy. But every day he goes to the same park to feed the birds. One day, a neighbor sits next to him and says, "Beautiful day, isn't it?" In that 1 second, the silence is shattered. That tiny bridge of conversation is how we shatter the glass wall of loneliness. It takes bravery to speak first, but that is how the quest is won. So, how do we start breaking down those invisible walls? Let's look at these 3 suggestions much more deeply. 1. The micro-connection challenge. In a big city, we treat people like obstacles. The person in front of us at the grocery store is just the person slowing me down. The micro-connection challenge is about turning obstacles back into humans. Take your phone out of your hand before you reach the counter. Look at the person's name tag. If it says Maria, say, "Thank you, Maria. I hope your day goes quickly." These are called weak ties. Research shows that these small 10-second interactions release a chemical in your brain called oxytocin. It makes you feel safe and seen. 2. Join a third place. Sociologists call your home the first place and your work the second place. A third place is a community space where you aren't a boss, a mom, or a worker. You're just you. Look for a place with propinquity. This is a scientific word that means being near someone often. Don't just go to a random coffee shop. Go to the same coffee shop at 9 a.m. every Saturday. Join a class that meets every Tuesday for 6 weeks. Friendship is often just a result of seeing the same face over and over again. Eventually, the hello becomes "How was your week?" and the loneliness starts to fade. 3. Be interrupter. This is the hardest one, but it is the most powerful. We are all waiting for someone else to be the host of life. We wait for the neighbor to knock. We wait for the co-worker to suggest lunch. Be the one who interrupts the silence. If you see a neighbor carrying heavy bags, don't just look away. Ask, "Can I hold the door for you?" If you see someone in your building with a book you like, say, "Oh, I loved that book. Is it your first time reading it?" Most people are just as lonely as you are, but they are too afraid to be annoying. When you interrupt the silence, you aren't being annoying, you are being a hero. You're giving them permission to connect. To wrap things up, loneliness in the city isn't a you problem, it's a modern human challenge. We live in a world designed for speed, not always for the heart. But remember this crucial reminder. Your value is not defined by how many people are in your contact list. You are worthy of connection, and there are people out there right now, perhaps just one street away, who are wishing they had a friend exactly like you. Thank you so much for spending these 10 minutes with me. We talked about the urban desert, the power of purpose, and how to make those small, brave connections. Here is my deep question for you today. If you could reach out to one person you haven't talked to in a year, just to say "I was thinking of you," who would it be? Why not send that text right now? If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, like, and share it with someone who might be feeling a little bit invisible today. Let's look out for each other. I'm Joe, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Take care of your heart. Thanks for joining us. In this podcast, you've learned the following. Let's read aloud. Loneliness is not lack of company, loneliness is lack of purpose. Loneliness is not lack of company, loneliness is lack of purpose. The eternal quest of the individual human being is to shatter his loneliness. The eternal quest of the individual human being is to shatter his loneliness. Feel free to read it aloud. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave a comment below.